Welcome to the shed. That table usually has like 4 people on it.
Right.
So that goes into the middle, and then I can have a bigger podcast, basically.
Okay, great.
But
Oh my God, yeah, that table's great. What are you gonna do with that? Keep that?
I built both those tables.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, so it's like...
Well, you know, you got a job on Etsy after. When in doubt.
No house, no shit. I just make some tables for people.
You can make your house.
Yeah.
You made a table. What is that? Your sound? I can't see it. Oh yeah, it's your little sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound deck. Oh, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, good.
Where are we starting?
We can start with that as well. That was kind of good. I like kind of improv.
Your Etsy job.
Yeah.
And all else fails. No, nothing's going to fail. It'll be fine.
Well, if it fails, then you kind of learn.
It's true. You learn everything from your mistakes. It's true.
Exactly. So,
Hi.
hi. So, I'll let everyone know who you are anyway. So today in the shed, I'm joined by a good friend of mine. And someone I haven't seen in years, which we've just been talking about. I'm not sure. It's like 6 or 8 years.
Yeah,
I think I've seen you before then.
Yeah, it feels like not that long ago. Yeah, we did. Maybe I bumped into you probably at a festival. I don't know. When did I see you last?
Ages.
Yeah.
Ages.
Just been on Instagram, I suppose.
It might have been Brian at a festival, not Ryan. But yes, today I'm joined by a DJ, presenter. And is it a brand strategist?
Brand strategist,
yeah. You know, that's my dyslexia. I'm just like, I'm going to let you correct me.
That's all right. You're almost there. Yeah, that's me.
And you've been traveling sort of across UK, New York, LA, Europe, you know, pretty much everywhere. So
Russia.
And I don't think Russia as well.
Not now. God,
not now.
No,
I got out. I escaped.
No, nice. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you in the same outfit ever.
No. I mean,
you do always have some amazing outfits.
People kind of come into my house and they're like, "Oh, this is like a shop. I'll be in here for a while." But yeah, this is old stuff actually.
Yeah, well, it's good to keep the old stuff and
mix and match. And all that jazz.
So let's go back to, because we were talking about Camden
back.
And like where we met.
Yeah.
Because I remember you were trying to help the shops were there.
Yeah, so I was there doing kind of like marketing strategy. My background is fashion. It's always been a mix of like between fashion and music. And I remember doing fashion degree being like, well, I'll get music and fashion will collide in some way. And they did for me in the end. But yeah, I was doing freelance while I was DJing and stuff, freelance doing this marketing strategy. And what they wanted us is to bring kind of authenticity back to Camden. Because, you know, growing up, I'm from North London, growing up in London, you went to Camden as kids for like the old vintage stuff. You know, it wasn't all these other big brands and stuff. And then they eventually just kind of cleared out and there's a couple of them still there. There's an incredible stall shop there where they kind of cite Dolce & Gabbana coming in and taking some of their prints and because these were like old 1950s prints and using that in some of their inspo. And I kind of believe them because it looks really similar to Dolce & Gabbana's. Anyway, yeah, I was brought in there to bring some kind of emerging designers into Camden. So we made this whole kind of what we called the front row of designer makers. And that was kind of it. And that's where we met.
I just remember it just being like, you'd have this small little square where I was, right? And people would move in and they would go, is it normally this quiet?
Yeah. I mean, they tried to make that the kind of creative
area.
Yeah.
But it's at the end of the market.
The thing is, that's where like Londoners would come to, like I would come to that end of the market growing up. Yeah. But like you can't help it now. Camden's a tourist attraction, the end, you know, and you just got to roll with that now.
And I think also for me selling clothes there, it was always quite tricky because you'd either get, where's the Amy Winehouse statue? Or where is Cyber
I
Dog?
also kind of think that one, she's actually like shockingly small.
Too small.
It's really
too small.
But that's apparently how small she was. I mean, I'm a giant. I'm like 5'11", so you know, anyone's small to me.
You're taller than 5'11".
No, I'm not. Yeah, it's only when I get on planes, I'm like, oh, I'm 6 foot. Can you give me the
I'm
extra
5'10".
leg room? You're 5'10"?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I got measured recently for a fitting, so I'm like, and I thought I was 5'11".
I was going to say, do you think you were taller? Typical man. Christ. The amount of Hinge profiles my
You're
friends,
like, nah.
Yeah, my friends tell me, like my boyfriend's sister's always like, yeah, he's definitely about 5'8". He's lying just by looking at the profile.
It's hard to tell though. You know, to be fair, like my dad actually. Quite a while ago, I measured him, and he's actually really offended.
Oh no! What did he think?
Because he's got smaller. He thought he was 6 foot. He's 5'8".
Oh no!
And
wow,
that is it's wrong. The tape's wrong. I was like,
oh yeah, definitely.
No, Dad, the tape's not wrong. Like you know,
the tape don't lie.
Yeah, you're a bit older now. Like things shrink down.
Oh no, but has his ears got bigger? That's what happened to men.
His ears aren't too bad.
Oh, they get big ears and
that's
big
in there. Like you can't really see him too much, but it's
he shrunk out of the Polaroid.
Yeah, he's only 2 inches tall now. You don't believe that tape measure?
I wonder what that tiny thing was over there. No, that's Yoda. So yeah, I was doing like fashion strategy work part time, and now I have my own company for that. But I mean, it's just finding the balance really, because the DJing stuff is what I enjoy and what kind of makes the most money.
Were you DJing then? When,
yeah.
Because
that was 3 days a week. You know, you've got to make things work for yourself. And yeah, it's kind of like I quite like using that part of my brain. And also, it kind of feels like the easiest thing to do, you know, whereas actually you should be doing the stuff that pushes you and makes you scared.
Yeah.
Which
Every
is,
day.
Yeah. Which is what I'm doing now, which is great, you know, so yeah.
Was that ever a battle at the beginning?
What, the
fear side of things, like to go from comfortable to uncomfortable? Whenever I met you, I always felt you was pretty confident. Like,
yeah, I definitely. Because I used to work straight out of uni. Worked for L'Oreal for 4 years, and I wanted to get the hell out of there. Never, like, people always worry about being freelance. I didn't. I was just like, I'm
worry
ready
about
for
having
this.
a boss.
Yeah. Like people were like, oh my God, but you know, you don't get, because people, I think what shocks people is when they go from full time to freelance, they kind of go, oh my God, there's like no one giving you praise, and it's like your praise is that salary at the end of the month.
Also, what you've accomplished.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean. Like, I find the scary thing for me is that if you know, I've been like. Before you met me, like an estate agent or, you know.
No way.
Yeah.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Terrible Primark suit, you know. Crappy, well, they give you crappy salary.
Right.
BMW, and it's all Target drives.
Right.
You know, and I just used to be the worst because I'd be good at sales and stuff like that, and it was no lettings. But it was always, I just was like, look, we ain't got the stock.
Right.
You can't just pull this out of thin air. You know what I mean? You need certain things.
I couldn't. Well, I say to my friend who works in
Mm-hmm.
sales, I could never work in sales, and she's like, "Yeah, but you kind of do every day because you are a brand and you're constantly having to put yourself out there."
Yeah, to sell for sure.
Oh yeah, okay, true.
Yeah.
No, I never felt fear of that. I think I've been freelance for so many years now. You just get through it on times when you're maybe not making as much money as you are the month after or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the fear just comes from just doing different things. You know, I love put me in front of a camera, I'm fine, but I had this like fear of radio because I hadn't done it before, and I had to really get past that. And now that I've done that, I'm like, oh, it's fine.
What scared you about radio? Just not doing
just
it, or
just not really doing it. Like I'd been a guest on radio. I'd done a couple of shows. I did some in lockdown. It's nothing like pre-records are nothing like live radio. Do you know what I mean? And then you know, you just kind of go, oh, what if I like forget how to speak? And it's like, you know me, I'm totally not going to forget how to speak.
No, we're quite similar.
Yeah, it just goes through your head. But no, it was fine. It was fine. You just got to feel the fear. And no, I'm not going to read that title of the book. I'm just going to say, you know, hold its hand and be like, come on, let's do this.
Yeah.
And when you do it was fun, totally fun. And it always is.
I think that's what you have to tell your mind though, innit? Because like I said to my mate Charlie yesterday, I was like, do you get, he does Muay Thai.
Right.
And I was like, do you get nervous before you go training? He's like, every time, bro.
Right.
And I
yeah.
was like, why? He's like, well, because you know you're going to put your body through some shits, but it's different kind of nerves. It's not like pushing you away. It's like, it's adrenaline in a sense. I think.
Yeah, did I watch something, listen to something like that recently?
I found some information.
Yeah, some information came into my brain somehow. Where I'm loving these chairs, by the way. I'm just like, yeah,
Good, isn't
it's
it?
great, really comfy. That basically, when you are about to do something that sometimes brings you fear, or it's something big for you, your body starts getting into adrenaline mode like 3 days beforehand. In terms of it starts prepping you for it.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that.
Yeah, because I had like my new radio show on like Wednesday, and when I practiced it on Monday, I was like, oh, this is fine. It kind of comes in. But yeah, I did a bit of a meditation beforehand, and it like shifted the energy. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is fine.
What kind of meditation did you do?
So it was this incredible one where this woman was basically like this thing about feeling the fear. And basically she said like this girl felt fear, and she said to the fear, why are you here? And fear said back to her, I'm here to tell you that you are alive.
Yeah.
And that you are doing the right thing, and that's why I'm here. So come on, let's go and do this. And I was like, oh my God, yes, this resonates for me.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I do a lot of energy work, like where to put my energy, and if you move up your chakras, like you can. I do something. It's called cosmic transmutation.
Yeah.
Move it up.
Okay.
Things like that. I do breath work as well, but sometimes I find breath work like you're literally just holding your breath for 2 minutes to get high.
Oh my God. No, I think what's that? Fire breath's really good.
Yeah.
If you get into like a shock situation. So I've got a cat, and he's a psychopath. Like 1 minute he's so loving, the
Your
next
cat
minute
is hilarious as well. He looks like such a character.
Oh my God, he's a complete character.
Yeah.
But like, what I've learned from him is to live in the moment. Because 1 minute he's the cutest little thing, and the next minute he wants to kill you. So when he like literally shocks you, I'm like, okay, fire breath, get out of this scared state.
There's a whole thing that cats are telepathic.
Oh yeah, probably.
So like, and it's through imagery. So it's like, test this out with your cat and let me know.
Yeah, go on.
So basically, if you like, I would put something that is it a she or he?
He, yeah.
Yeah. So what's his name?
Philou.
Philou.
Yeah. So
explain the name.
Remember Petit Philou, the yogurt?
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I remember when I first got him, I was like, I went to bed one night, I was like, what does that mean? What's that mean? And I looked up in the morning, and it means little rascals in French.
Yeah.
I was like,
so he's living up to the name.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, jokes.
But yeah, go on.
So does he have toys or anything like that?
Do you know what? He loves his like bird. He doesn't really care for much. He's living up to his whole name. He's French. He gives no fucks. And yeah, he's literally like, yeah, whatever.
I don't need this.
Yeah, but he has to be near you. He's a psychopath. Like, if my boyfriend comes in the room and gives me a hug, the cat literally is like, starts meowing like, hello, where's mine? He's so needy. It's
when he wants to be.
Oh my God. Yeah. Other times, no, don't touch me.
They're smart as hell. Like.
But no, tell me, I want to know about this.
So basically, you can try a little test of it. Through like, for some reason, it came up on a pod the other day.
Okay.
And
do you have a cat?
No, I did.
Okay.
I did have a cat years ago. Rebel.
Great.
Lived up to that name. Nightmare. But yeah. So basically, say what you want to do is like a symbol imprint. So you want to be thinking of it and putting out that vibration to your cat, basically.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to sit there and think of whatever toy she has, or toy he has,
yeah,
and put it in another room.
Okay.
And then see if he goes and gets it. So let me know if that works.
Yeah, I don't think he's that smart.
You never know.
He definitely can sense tension.
I think animals, just because they don't speak our language a lot of the time. I mean, a whale has, you know, a bigger emotional part in its brain than we do. Dolphins are definitely
Oh
smart,
my God,
you know.
yeah.
They work
Dolphins.
with their environment rather we like to lawnmower it.
Yeah, I just wish I could maybe like focus on his box that he needs to get in for like the vets and be like, please just get in the box nicely.
Maybe just keep doing that.
Please don't rip my hand to shreds every time. But yeah, God, I could talk about the kettle toe, but I won't.
I mean, there's a documentary on Amazon as well.
Oh yeah, every time I put that on, it's like, are you really watching that?
What one?
The cat
No,
one.
no. This is about
okay.
like telepathy, and it's these kids, and they wear blindfolds, and they literally can read books with their blindfolds on.
How old are they?
Like young,
Yeah,
or 7.
Okay,
in
yeah.
theta stage, which is the frequency.
Yeah,
they're at
yeah.
that age. So they're very susceptible to certain things like
Right.
schools.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a mad documentary, and
Well, because I swear, you know, what is it? Norway, they don't put kids in school until like they're 7 or something.
I mean that like Norway, like all that part of the world seems to be doing a lot better than the rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
The free university, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, you know, I think if you're pregnant, then you're off work and you're paid. I think they have really good income bases on certain things.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of the time when people go to like Copenhagen, they're like, oh, it's expensive, but you can see why. Yeah.
You get to live.
Yeah.
Not work and live.
Yeah. I don't know what. I'd love to not put a kid in school till they're about 7, but
I think so as well. I think it's too young, especially some of the teachings that are going on in schools now seem a bit fucking nuts.
Yeah. My friend's got a kid, and they lived in Hong Kong, and they've just come back. And him going into second, what is he? It's like 11 now. He was just like, it's very different here.
What, in England, is it?
Yeah. Everyone is love and sunshine in Hong Kong. I was like, yeah, but he kind of needs to get into that. You know, we can talk about. I was looking at a thing on Esther Perel said today about how our kids are so. I mean, let's not get twisted. I definitely don't have any children yet at all. I'm a long way off.
Me too.
But you know, she was saying how our kids are so, I guess, like, you know, soft and not put in situations because everyone's worried about the anxiety of their children. And, you know, my friend from home, she's a teacher, and she was telling me a story about how, like, this child wouldn't go to school because of this, and the parent didn't want to mess with its anxiety. And I was like, sometimes you've got to put kids in situations for them to be able to grow.
That's how they grow, yeah.
Exactly. It's like what we were literally just saying as being an adult. Like, I remember my mum putting me in ridiculous outfits and like throwing me into kids' parties. And I remember that feeling of like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. I don't know anyone. Like, it really engulfed you, and you just felt so... It was a lot. But now, put me in a room and I'll talk to a chair if it moves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, it works. So yeah, I know. It's just, anyway, yeah.
So was your mum quite fashionable then? Is she
Yeah. I mean, both my mum and my dad. I think my dad now gives the best Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, my mum has a very kind of like, everything is in its perfect place. Yeah, she's got a good fashion sense, I suppose. She's definitely, both my parents are quite, I guess, entrepreneurial. My mum finished school left school at 16. When she lived in Brighton, she went traveling for a bit, and this was in the 60s, yeah. And then came to London. She was like Nigella Lawson's nanny for a bit. She was the Europe's #1 watch seller at Mappin and Webb, and she was in Vogue. I went to fashion school, and she tells me she was in Vogue after I went to fashion school. I was like, Mum, I could have literally like, you know, thrown that around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's been, you know, here, there, and everywhere. And my dad came over from South Africa when he was 25. And, you know, in the 60s, that's like that's a, you know, big deal, I suppose. And, you know, my mum, she had 4 brothers, 1 sister. They all married the first butcher, baker, candlestick maker, and she was like,
I love that.
But you know, like
Butcher, baker, candlestick
well,
maker.
like you know, or she was like, fuck this, I'm going to London. See ya.
Yeah.
So they're very much like when I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving the corporate world and I'm going to go freelance. They've always been like, okay. Or like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and live in America for a bit. Okay. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
My mum's quite similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even with this, like, going to this warrior training thing, she's like, all right.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you know, show her a video, she's like, are you sure though? And I'm like, yeah.
It's like we were saying earlier, you're a bit knackered after 2 hours
I know.
training and you're going to do 8 hours
I'm building
a day.
myself up. I'm building myself up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it's good to have good guidance though through parents. I mean, and to...
Oh, 100%, yeah.
The more you kind of suffocate a child in the sense of, you know, experiences, and there are like... You got to look at life as every bad experience comes good, and every good
oh my God,
can come bad
100%.
as well.
I mean, Jesus, in those bad experiences, it's the worst. All you're trying to do is breathe. You know, if you've had like really bad breakups or whatever, and it's just like, hey, what can I do today? Oh, I'm just going to make sure I'm breathing, okay?
Yeah.
But once you get past that, and it was, you know, time is the healer. Oh my God, like the experience that you get from,
And how good you feel. Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God. I just remember, I had one like significant breakup. Like we'd lived together.
You grew together.
Well, no.
No, you grew apart.
No, it was like I had everything. You know, I had a nice house with my really nice like flatmate family, nice job, and then kind of came along and lived there with us, and it all just kind of broke apart. And it all just went a bit downhill, and I couldn't see it. And then when we split up, I then, you know, moved out and started again, and it was like the universe said, "Oh, you've dealt with that shit. So here's everything again." You know, you got rewarded. But like, you know, going through all that because you've got this whole. Yeah, it was very much a lot of manipulation. But once you see it and you've been through it, it doesn't happen again.
No, if it does, it's the universe showing you, and
Yeah.
you've got to see it.
Yeah. I definitely. Oh, the universe.
I find that funny, like when that happens, and you become a person that you become a watcher of the clouds in the sense that you got to watch it go by, not getting involved in it.
But it takes years. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like I dated the same person in different guises for years.
Yeah,
because the universe is like, oh, she hasn't learned.
Yeah.
And then when you start learning, thank God, they're like, oh, okay, this is great, guys. Bring in the Prince Charming.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's cool now. But but yeah, you got to go through the learnings and the struggles before you start. And thank God, because, you know, people don't learn and they do that their whole life.
Yeah.
Or they're too scared to. I think.
They're trapped in it.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave it. And
But you're only trapped in it. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's like only you can change things.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to your guts and your instincts. Those red flags are there for a reason.
Yeah.
So when I started listening to the red flags, the universe was like, oh, ding ding, this is okay. Brew up the Prince Charming. I think she's ready. You know. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
No, I mean, relationships are a great learning curve.
Yeah.
Like, and not one. I would never say anyone that I was ever with was a waste of time, because I definitely think women do build great men in the sense of bad or for better, in the sense of the relationship, whether it worked out or not. You both learn from each other a lot, you know. No,
I learned not to be a mug. No, I just remember doing my tax bill at the end of that year being like, oh yeah, I paid for everything. Oh my God, no. But like those really tough ones, you're like, I learned the most from. And I would never not, you know, they say regret the things you haven't done, not the things you have. And oh my God, I like cherish those, because it was like, yeah, I've learned so much from those ones, you know.
I'll give the heartache back though. That shit hurts.
It does, but you soon, at the time it's the worst, but my God, it's totally forgotten now. You kind of laugh at it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. The feeling. You know, I think when you find true love though, it does always linger there. No matter, you know, it's not the same feeling as when you're in it, because I think heartache. Terence McKenna says something do you know Terence McKenna?
No, I don't.
He's like this. He's probably top G in the sense of
in relationships or in life
as
advice?
in psychedelics, but he has an expanding mind on talking about everything really.
Okay.
He has a kind of voice like this. He's like, oh yeah, and he's like,
he's a gremlin.
you know, yeah, he is a bit like he's a bit like the guy that does all the body movements and for Gollum.
Well, him. I love that dude.
Like, yeah. But he said that, you know, when you look at love, it's so similar to a heroin addict, you know, because afterwards, if the heartache goes, you know, you found this chemical that you're so infatuated with love.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
He's like, you throw up, you know.
It's what it is. It's the love drug.
It's withdrawal.
But also, you know, I was listening the other day. Like you can die from heartache. You know, you hear about people that have died and then their partners die. Like, you know, a few months later.
But the Queen didn't go too quick after. You know.
Well, yeah, like.
Even though she was 100 or so, I think.
Yeah, she lived a good life. Yeah. But it's a Japanese. I literally listened to this last week. Actually, it's a Japanese term, and it's basically the body kind of starts. It comes into a shock, and you, what is that? And they named it something. Oh, I've forgotten now. But yeah, you can. It's like that thing. You know, love is a drug. It's a good job I don't have an addictive personality.
I do.
But that's probably why you're like, yeah, it's still lingering. I'm like, mine's gone.
Well, no, not that. But I mean, you know, you remember it for what it was, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, but then that's also a thing, isn't it? Like you can look through it.
Yeah.
Rose-tinted spectacles, because we have that really annoying thing as human beings. Like we need to be in what's it called? Groups. Detaching ourselves. Tribes. Yeah, detaching ourselves from that is unnatural and has been for hundreds of thousands of years. So it's breaking that norm. And that routine. But doesn't it take like 30 days and you're fine?
Yeah, I mean, do you research a lot into, like, from talking to you, do you research a lot into, like, human reactions, or, like, what kind of documentaries do you go into?
I look a lot, and I've got at, like women, and I feel like, because I did a lot of work. I remember going into lockdown and being like, had this kind of idea of like, I'm my best me single, and actually I don't want to be my best me single. I want to be my best me all the time with a partner. And what I realized was, when I go into relationships, I put myself on the back burner and put them first, and then don't really say what I want to say, and keep what the one woman calls it, like, in my princess rather than being in my queen. I'm too scared of saying what I want to say because I'm worried they're going to run away or something like that. And then once you start learning a bit of self-love, you start going, I'm going to say whatever I want, and if they leave, then they're the wrong person. I started doing a bit like a kind of self-love course where you kind of start listening. I feel like women especially have a real magical instinct, and we just, through the ages of being, you know, second-class citizens and pushed down and vilified over hundreds of thousands of years, where we don't listen to it as much as we should. And so once you start listening and trusting your instinct and listening to the red flags, that's when everything starts becoming great. And not even just relationships, you know, manifesting and stuff. Once you start trusting your path and being like, oh, you know, rather than, I really want to get this job. It's like, well, if that happens, that happens. I know my path. We're working together, as long as you tell the universe. As long as you're trying, because, you know, you could be like, I'm on a path, but I'm just going to sit here all day and watch TV. You know, You've got to start trying.
I can't do that. I have a panic attack if I watch TV.
What's your star sign?
Aquarius.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, okay. I wonder what you're right.
You're the last on the whole.
Yeah.
So
they're quite creative, right? So what is...
We want to save the world, but we don't want to tell anyone about it.
But what...
But then I've got Leo. I'm Leo. So I also want to be like, hi. But then I'm like, no, I don't want to tell you today.
That's really interesting. So you're Leo. So I'm Capricorn. So we get shit done.
Yeah.
Capricorn, Virgo, Scorpio. I hate Virgos.
Virgos to me, though, they're always very strong on their points.
Virgos, I get on with them, but we clash because, and obviously I've got Virgo in my chart, but like, so, you know, we're perfectionists, but what I find with Virgos is if they do anything for you, they have made that mental note, and they also pick at the smaller things, don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's very much the detail of it rather than how it was created. No, it's that's what it is.
And I've come across that several times with Virgos.
Yeah.
Now like,
that's where I'm like, I always question zodiacs is something I find really interesting. Chinese zodiacs as well. Like I'm a horse, and it's like a horse needs to know when to stop fucking working. Like we should just work all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Then like I had a disagreement a little while ago with a not a friend now kind of situation, and I was like, what? Wait, I said to a mate, when was he fucking born? And then and he's like, he said when he was, and he's a rooster. The geezer gets up at 4 a.m, right, and rings you, or he'll ring you early and things like that, and it's always like. And the rooster doesn't like the horse's nature because the horse just, is wild, gallops about, does his work, does his thing, and the rooster don't like that.
Yeah.
But then I'm a tiger. Oh, you're a tiger, yeah.
So last year was the year.
Last year was Year of the Tiger.
Yeah.
How do you feel last year went for you as a tiger?
Oh, really good. I feel like this year, last year was great. Last year was really great. This year's going pretty good. I keep hearing things about March being really like.
Well, it's really when
it's spring.
We're like we're like fucking plants.
We 100% are, yeah.
We literally hide in the window.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, the sun's out.
Yeah, all this
Especially
kind of like, yeah, absolutely. And all this kind of like, oh yeah, January, I need to start now. No, guys, you're not starting really until about March.
Yeah, slow
spring.
down. Yeah. If anything, plan your year. I've done a lot of planning and stuff like that through January and February, and also my birthday in February, which is February the 9th. So I'm like, it's I'm stepping into. I'm 33 now, so it's master numbers. But I'm like, and I look at like that. I used to always hate my birthday because it's such a time where like people are kind of just fed up.
Oh, okay. So my birthday's in December 27th. So yeah. So no, I don't get joint presents because I'm a brat. So what I tended to do was have a party at the end of Jan.
Yeah.
Because, well, actually, do you know what I used to do pre-COVID? It was like, let's have a party the week before everyone goes home. Because everyone like with other normal jobs, they'll go home on like the 17th or whatever. It's for Christmas or whatever. Whereas then because of COVID, everyone was like, I kind of don't want to be socializing before I go home because I don't want to give anything to my parents who are older. So then what I started doing was going, all right, let's do an end of January thing because evererone hates January anyway.
Yeah, and they get paid.
Which worked better.
Like,
February's fine. What are you talking about?
No, I just, you know what, it's the 9th and I don't know.
You should do like a Valentine's birthday. That would have been fun.
Maybe I'll do that.
Because everyone hates Valentine's anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean?
It's true. Oh my God.
Next year.
Again.
What
does this even mean in our relationship?
It better be a present. It better be some flowers. And it better be a card.
Yeah, exactly.
No. But yeah, no.
So what's your thoughts like going back to zodiacs? Because it does, I think growing up in England and doing this show, I've spoken to like a flat earther. I've spoken to a philosopher of the mind and
right. Oh, I better watch that flat earther
one. I've spoken to a guy who's done loads of DMT and had beings working him on it.
Is he still lost?
No, he's fucking there. Like
is he?
He's very, very smart guy. But he DMT is also in your body anyway. So
I know. I just seem to find people that like to do ayahuasca on a daily and DMT.
Not on a daily. You can't
no, but
do
like
it on a daily.
I know a lot of people. I've met
break your brain.
That's what I mean. Like that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But like I met a couple of people that are like doing ayahuasca like a few times a year, and you're like, guys, you really don't need to. Or like
you don't know what someone else needs though. In that case, because they might have stuff they're working through or whatever. And
but then you're like, is it medicinal? Is it another addiction? Like,
but then you can look at it like, how many drinks do most people have a week? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're having 3 trips of ayahuasca a year, then it might not be too bad. And each time when you do that, I think from what I've heard, it's like it does change you in a better direction. But it's not an easy thing to do. They're not going for a party. They might shit and piss themselves at the beginning and throw up.
Yeah.
So,
but I just think like you don't sometimes need to do those extremes to find yourself.
No. No.
And sometimes maybe doing the smaller bits of work they probably find difficult. That's why it has to be so drastic.
Yeah.
What was it Lewis Howes was saying the other day about like, is looking at daily routines. Oh, sorry.
It's fine. Do. There it goes. Good.
Yeah.
Need better bars, but yeah, go on.
No,
Sorry.
it's me. It's me. Yeah, Lewis Howes was talking about daily routines, and he was like, you know, you don't need to be getting in a freezing cold bath for 30 minutes. You don't need to do that. That works for some people. That extreme works for some people. It doesn't work for others. It's about the small steps that are going to help you get where you want to be.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, you know, your mum dressed you up and put you into environments where you were that weren't necessarily your strong point at that point, but being at a young age, that it created you as a person.
It's mad, isn't it? Because I still remember that weird feeling.
I was like that. I was shy like that.
Yeah. And now it's like, put me in a room. I'm ready.
This is what
ready.
I need.
Yeah.
My mum and my stepdad put me into like acting, drama, and singing school, and I liked it. But then, soon as like 13, I think puberty. Like, soon as that hit, I was a guy with like energy that I didn't know where it was coming from. What am I meant to do? I don't like being on stage anymore.
Okay.
I was at Pineapple Studios. I was like, I fucking hate dancing.
Right. So I was the kind of opposite. I didn't go to stage school until I was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Because I was bullied at 11. No, I was bullied at 13 by my best friends. That
Really?
I think is the first.
I like that you still class them as your best friend.
No, well they were at the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was my
that
first real life experience. I think of understanding people and trauma and stuff like that. Like, you know, obviously you work, like we were saying, your kind of traumas is what makes who you are and makes you kind of stronger for the future. That was my first kind of, I guess, heartbreak. Yeah, there was like a crew of, we were in a small school and there was like a crew of 10 of us, and there was like me and someone who was like the dons, the top dogs. Anyway, and then I just came in one morning and they were all she turned them all against me. And I had
So
to
she
move.
probably felt pressured by you then.
Probably.
She needed a gang on you.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Carry on for a while then, was it?
Yeah, so oh God, that was awful. Yeah, so she turned them all against me. I mean, we're talking about a tiny school with 30 people in a class, 25 to 30 people in a class. So yeah, it was horrible. It was awful. I had to kind of, you know, I'd gone from this like social thing to like hiding behind pillars, trying to not look like I was a loner for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then moved classes because I had friends in the other class. And interestingly, still friends with those people in the other class, you know, still know them. Whereas that lot, apparently they all disbanded and some of them became addicts. So anyway, but yeah, so that was my first, thing of experience of real kind of like
Bullying and trauma.
well, yeah, like social stuff, you know. Then I kind of realized, this is how you need to be with people. You kind of need to, you start becoming more aware, socially aware of yourself, don't you? Yeah. Yeah,
and then I feel, then once you get through sort of the bracket of where it made you nervous or anything like that, then you're just comfortable in it.
Yeah.
You get what the feelings are rather than trying to avoid them. Because you're like, oh no.
And then you don't care.
No.
And not caring is the best thing.
Yeah, not giving a fuck is great.
But that's going back to, you know, this drama school. That's why then with the friends I made in the new class, they were like, let's go to drama school. They were so like more like, you know, when we were like growing up, so what we were probably like 14, 15 or so this happened when we were 13. So 13, 14, 15. I remember we'd be like, what should we do this Saturday? And just be like, yeah, let's go to London. Oh my God, we might be able to get into like a show because, you know, they did cheap tickets for like on the day or whatever. We kind of were very YOLO before YOLO was a thing. Me and my little drama student friend Tanya. But yeah, and so for me, doing the Saturdays like helped me get out of just was kind of perfect. But I think also puberty for girls and boys are very different as well. Like,
I think also, like, you know, going back to what you said about, you know, women and their past and everything else, you know, there's one thing I heard is that we live in a dictatorship, not a partnership. And it's like the same men that are affecting the women are affecting the men in certain ways as well. And I feel that in the senses of where men grow up in school now and women grow up in school or children grow up in school, they're both as confused in certain ways, but the education is just not there to sort of how deep it should be for the processes they actually go through. Because if you think you're born, you go into a school and you're going through the earliest stages of your life where you know fuck all.
Yeah.
And then you're being told all these
Oh,
things.
absolutely. I strongly believe, like, you know, guys are brought up on bravado.
Yeah,
you know, so no
like a maze to try and work out what my own meant to be now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like,
you know?
like everything is, you know, it's bravado. You know, sometimes you take the schools, you know, you've got to, so it's no wonder when men become boys become men, that they are a bit like, yeah, I am 6 foot when really I'm 5'8", because it's what is real, what's not. I think it's probably very different for guys. I've been very lucky growing up, you know, and it's like that for lots of other people. But I've been very lucky growing up that I was very much like, if I didn't like something, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But growing up, that was a negative in my family. It was like, oh, she will only do what she wants to do. And like, that was a bad thing. And actually thinking back, it's like, no, that's a good thing, because that means that I'm standing up for me and other people. And that's how I've always been. Yeah. You know?
Do you think it's dependent on whether that thing was something that you felt challenging at the time and you didn't want to do it due to?
No, it was actually just like, this is bullshit. I don't want to do this.
Not doing the dishes.
Yeah, it was like...
That's not the point with this. Yeah.
No, yeah. I am not a second classer. No, no, this was just like, yeah, we need to go and meet my dad's new girlfriend. I'm like, no, I don't need to do that.
No,
thanks.
You need me to do that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I was quite lucky in that way. I kind of stood my ground, which is, you know, and that's what I do in life. And when I feel like I'm not saying I'm bloody, you know, Joan of Arc or whatever, but I will not, if I see shit going down, I'm not gonna like.
Yeah, not
walk past it.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. But yeah.
So when did music come into your life then?
Ooh, music's always been in my life. My mum was obsessed with like Marvin Gaye. When there was always song. My dad's family are all musicians. My uncles were in bands. My cousins are singers and music teachers.
Christmas must be nuts.
Yeah, it was great. Literally. My uncle would get out, the band, and it was great. Bit of a hootenanny. It's awesome. So, and my mum, you know, there's always music playing. And my dad, very Motown, on Sunday Motown tunes and whatnot. But how did it start with me? I played the piano when I was younger. My brother was very much into music. I remember going past his room when I was like, I don't know, 12. When did the Dr. Dre 2001 album come out? What? Maybe it was 14 or something. Yeah. And I remember just hearing this bass as I walked past his room and was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Because that is great. And so, just like hung out in my brother's room listening to hip hop for years. And, started getting more and more into things. I think sometimes people either have that personality, or whether they're like, oh, I like this, or this is nice, and you know, just go about the daily business, or they're like, I like this,
I need it all the time.
I need it. How can I do this? Yeah. So I guess I was the latter, and I did so got more. I wanted to do another musical instrument, but that didn't happen. Don't know why. I wanted to be a saxophonist.
Okay.
That would have been pretty cool. But I don't know why I didn't. Anyway, and then, so I always wanted to go to uni and do musical fashion. And like I said earlier, I thought, well, they're going to collide anyway. So I went down the fashion route, and fortunately for me, they did collide. You know, I've traveled the world with fashion brands as their DJ for their, you know, Stella McCartney. We traveled Europe and the world with doing her presentations and launches in stores and stuff like that, and different brands. And
that must have been fucking wild.
Yeah, it was great. It was, but it was also the weirdest thing. So what I would do was, I live for music. You know, I know it sounds a bit lame, but like, there are days when I'm not listening to music. I'm like, oh, why do I feel like shit? Oh, shit, yeah, because I haven't listened to anything. That doesn't happen anymore too much. But I mean, and you know that feeling when you hear a track for the first time and you're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so...
Stella McCartney.
Yeah, we... Am I all right?
You're like me,
not,
though,
I know. You know, when you're like...
I just go off on a tangent all the time.
I just like to... but yeah, so they found me. I was still working at L'Oreal, but, you know, I was younger. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do the day job, then go to a DJ in the evening or whatever. So I was DJing at this place in Hoxton, what's it called, Macbeth, and I was playing hip hop. And I remember at the end of the night, you know, people talk to you all the time. And you're like, yeah, all right. Anyway, I got an email the next day being like, oh, we met last night. We'd love you to come and do this show for us. I'm the music director of Stella McCartney.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, so this wasn't bullshit.
Yeah,
this is true. This is real. Anyway, so then... so I worked with them. That was great. It was good fun. I could play whatever I wanted. Russia was hilarious. Russia was all the cliches you could imagine. Yes, all they do is drink vodka.
Yeah.
Like water, what's that?
Yeah, and I mean, isn't it also because it's so cold as well?
Yeah, I mean, I had a person that was taking me around, and everyone's just lovely and having fun. And well, this let it be known, this was like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, it was interesting. We had like a day off to go and do a bit of tourist stuff. Actually, it was just after. I was maybe like a year after. What was it? The World Cup was there. When was that?
Or was it the World Cup?
2018,
I mean, you're asking
19.
someone that doesn't even know the difference between a Premiership and a Championship.
Yeah, I was trying to find out that last night because literally I was just watching like, oh, there's a Manchester United match like every day, like twice a week. I'm like, how many cups does one?
It's the Roman games, yo.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So it's interesting, like they don't smile. That's like not in their culture to smile on camera, like for photos and things. And it's just part of their ways, just not to smile on camera. It's just quite interesting.
They're just like hard nuts all round.
Yeah, but then when they're in the social and
smile.
when they're doing like photos, it's all. But then you know the younger ones, when we're in the bars and stuff, they love to drink. It's great. It's
Vodka as well, man. I haven't drunk vodka.
No, yeah. But yeah, I think maybe just don't. After 1 or 2, it just feels like water. So
yeah, I now don't feel anything.
But yeah, no, it was great fun. It was good at the time.
So DJing and music.
So that was doing DJing. And then, just went to New York as well. I just started emailing lots of brands being like, oh, it's Fashion Week, do you need a DJ? And then this one was like, yeah, we're actually doing this in New York. Why don't you come out for that? And I was like, okay, great. So then went to New York by myself. And I think, going to different places by yourself is, again, so good for your growth. Just putting yourself, going through that kind of feeling of discomfort.
Yeah.
Because now I've got like a whole, community set of friends in New York that I wouldn't have had if I went with someone else. So, for example, I've DJed in LA a lot, but I've always gone with friends. So I don't have...
Stay in that clique.
Yeah. So I don't have the same community that I have in New York because I've done that. And How do
you find New York?
Love it.
Love it?
Yeah, I'm moving there soon.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, it's good we got in the shed then.
Yeah, right. Well, how do you find New York?
I haven't been.
Oh, wow. No. You need to come when I'm...
Yeah, for sure.
You have to come.
The only thing, I'm just like city to city.
Okay, yeah. So New York is London on steroids. But I keep thinking, I can just go to Rockaway Beach. I'll be fine. Because I love London, but New York is like, of course, there's tons of racism is a massive thing in everywhere we are, but in New York it feels very London. It feels very diverse, and the opportunity that it has is like endless. Americans are their whole religion is based on the flag, is based on the land of opportunity, is based on the American hustle. So everyone is hustling. So when they see you hustling, they understand. Whereas I think in London, it's like, oh, what are you going to do for me if I help you with this? Whereas in America,
100% like that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of leeches out there.
Yeah. Or they're like, in America, or they're just not, or we are not very direct because, we're too polite. Whereas in America, they literally don't care. And they're like, okay, so I need, like, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? So I feel like, all you got to do is watch the Kanye West documentary. Like, old Kanye was real. Old Kanye is inspiring. Like, the hustle was real.
Yeah. Now he's a bit off.
I know, he's off the meds, eh? But wow, it's like, the hustle is real and they understand it and they will help you. I think also the help that they give is bigger than what you can get in London.
Yeah.
What I've experienced anyway,
America is like go big or go home, innit? And they are very robotic in the way how they can just get things done a lot of the time. Their confidence can be quite robotic in a good way.
That's it, isn't it? It's kind of like, is this real? Are you real? Are you authentic?
Yeah.
Not
are you
sure.
an NPC of mine?
Yeah.
Are you helping me through the game?
Yeah. Yeah. But, do we got to do to get to where you need to get?
LA I found a bit mad. LA I found a bit like, you're plastering this country, this state as something else on the news, and you drive down the road and it's an entirely different place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love the sunshine.
Yeah.
But I would always want to live in LA for the sun and the weather, but and the beaches and nature. But it's interesting. So when me and my boyfriend met, we were both like, we want to kind of live in America for a bit. And he was like, I really want to live in LA. He's got his family over there. And then what happened was his job was like, oh, we've got opportunities in New York. And I was like, oh, actually, I am very much more New York. I know I can work a lot more out there. I've got a base out there. And I was just like, yeah, New York is get shit done vibes, which is what I am, Capricorn. But in LA, no.
No.
Also, but British people thrive in LA because of that mentality of getting things done, whereas LA people are a bit like,
a bit more chilled.
Yeah.
Had their green smoothie.
yeah. That cost $50. Yeah.
I went to Venice Beach and I found that like a bit like Camden.
Oh, it is, 100%.
Yeah, it's cool.
But cool. I love Venice.
Yeah,
of all the
funny,
places in it. But there's so many cliches. We were in West Hollywood and we went to a bar and like this girl, she'd come from the middle of nowhere. And she was trying to make it and she was with these guys who were like her friends, but they were literally couldn't give a shit about her when she was it was very strange.
Yeah.
And you just want to go, babe, like you don't need to sell your soul.
Yeah. What do you think about all that in the industry when you hear people selling their souls? Conspiracy wise, but when you look at it now, fuck me, is it like satanic worship everywhere?
What? What do you... what? Okay, let's break this down. Okay. I feel like,
Question number one. No,
I feel like, I think it all kind of links back to almost what I was saying earlier. If you've got belief in yourself, like I think I've had belief in myself from a young age, and if you don't have that grounding, it's difficult. And so I think people who've had a very mixed upbringing get themselves into situations. What am I talking about? Everyone can get themselves into these certain situations. It is difficult. But yeah.
You mean like when, if you look at someone like Kanye in a sense, like the change through that documentary.
But I mean like
around him and the group and.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I think of this girl in this bar, I'm like, you're very much being manipulated. And how do you know if you're being, it's like, how do you get yourself out of that space? You've got to have a strong sense of self. And unfortunately, people don't have that. For all different reasons in their lives, or it takes
fucking scroll when it comes to how many.
Yeah. But oh yeah, I mean, Kanye lost his rock, didn't he? And that's when it all went, shit hit the fan.
Yeah, I mean, the Hitler thing, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I don't know how much. There's so much now. You just have to kind of be.
It's like he's just got Tourette's. You know, he doesn't know what he's saying, but he kind of does. Oh,
he's always had a roundabout way of saying things, though. As in, like, he hasn't been. It is more on the spectrum kind of way. You can tell he's smart, like, but it's more like, you know, he can just go off so many tangents. Like, he'll be like, you know, I'm going to buy the Earth. And then he'll be like, but we wasn't talking about that like 5 minutes
I spoke
ago.
to this guy and he's let me buy the Earth.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, yeah.
But then that kind of level, you know, from mum's house there to billionaire, you don't know how what someone's seeing. We just see one side, like really one side.
Nobody knows today. It's kind of like, it is. I tell you what was magical in that though, the way his mom really gave him that confidence.
I love that doc, even to the end of it. I thought he's still a guy that you have to strive to in certain aspects.
I mean, the hustle it was real. You know, if you haven't seen that documentary, he was like, Jay-Z didn't give a shit about him. He was a producer, not a rapper.
Innit? Yeah.
And he would be going at any chance possible. You know, sometimes like I feel, you know, sometimes you might hear someone talk about a DJ job or whatever. I mean, I was in the nail shop the other day and I heard this woman talking about she was doing an event with a big fashion brand. It was literally me and her in the nail shop, no one else. I could not hear the conversation. It was a massive event, big fashion brand. And I just went, and I had just watched the Kanye West documentary. And
I've got to get this opportunity.
Yeah, and because that's the thing you do, you miss these opportunities and you say, oh, what if, and then you're kind of like, you know what, even if she thinks you're crazy, at least you did it. Because what's on the other end of that, her walking out and you going, oh, I should have said something. I hate shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know, those are my terrible. 3 worst things. Yeah. But yeah, I think it is all about the people that you surround yourself with, hey? That's, all, you know, probably definitely not helping him. Who knows? Who knows? Like you said, we don't know, do we?
No, we don't know.
But he said those things. And I'm like, oh God. But yeah.
I mean, yeah.
He says some wild things. I mean, we can't. There's no point talking about it. He doesn't care about us. So
he don't care about us.
Yeah. So like, why should he care about
Kanye
what he said? Yeah. God.
So do you feel like, you know, music and DJing, that's sort of obviously a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Like you seem like you know yourself really well, because we just spoke a little bit about, you know, people just don't know themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel I've been sort of chiseling away till this year really, and I'm like, yeah, actually I feel fucking good in this kind of element of what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
How has that process been for you?
I totally agree. I'm kind of the same. I would say in the last, I think just I was very lucky going into the pandemic that I kind of had this realization of like wanting to like find myself a little bit more, and so took that time in the pandemic to do that. Found stuff like, oh, this self-love course where it was like listen to your intuition and stuff like that out of nowhere. I wasn't like looking for it. It was weird.
It finds you.
Yeah, very well did. And then I went on this like wild woman retreat where we kind of went to Snowdonia and, you know, wild swimming and all this kind of like, but what was interesting in that was they would do these you would sit around the fire at nighttime and people would talk about your ancestors. And I didn't really talk about my ancestors. I just kind of sat there. I was like, but what I started to realize was, oh, okay, so I come from a lineage of strong women, but subservient women. So I was like, okay. So now I'm putting the little parts together. It's all fitting the Lego. And I know what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And I just think there are so many women out there that want to leave certain situations and don't have the strength, and you know they've got kids or whatever and this, that and the other, and it's like, but you can, and you should leave it, because otherwise that kind of stress manifests into pain in the the
and then it can cause disease.
Yeah, so
trapped energy is the biggest cause.
What? Yeah.
And then, you know, you look at a disease or polyps, a tumor or cyst or whatever. What cracks me up is like that's where the disease is, so the body's gone, okay, I'm going to wrap that up, you know, and keep it in there. Just like an energy source in a sense. It's so mad. It
is mad. And it also feels very frustrating, the disbelief of people do not understand. You can't just treat the body. Your whole body is mind, body, soul. So you can if you're just treating the body, you can do that with a couple of tablets, but it will keep coming back. You have to do.
That's not a healer.
Yeah.
It's just a blocker.
Exactly. It's a number. You've got to heal that part of the soul.
Yeah, the Western world's big on numbers.
Yeah. Jeez,
you gotta feel it, yo.
Yeah. Like, you do. But unfortunately that takes guts and courage, and people don't want to do that.
No.
But once they do, that's when. But yeah, anyway, so
anyway.
No, but like no, I just
you're on to big things there.
But I just feel like what I guess mine was realizing, okay, yes, I know what I don't want to be and what I do want to be. So I'm gonna trust the instincts, and yeah, since doing that, things have got lots better, and yeah, I can just see it's not judging people, it's energies. I don't care what anyone says, energies is everything.
Yeah, we're an electric magnetic being.
Yeah.
You got
you can't deny
billion
that.
cells. That's what's happening, yo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you could definitely, I think it's about sometimes also with people, they're going at such a fast-paced rate that they're not giving their self the time to stop. And then when you do, like if you've been stressed all day and this feeling's been with you all day, if you give yourself that time to stop and be like, where is this coming from, and take a nice deep breath, and then it will start, sounds crazy, but it does start coming back and like talking to you like, oh, this is coming from this doesn't sit right with me or whatever.
No, there's a thing I do that's similar to that. So there's these tapes I've been doing forever. Everyone that knows this pod, they'll just be like, here he goes, talking about the tapes again. But there was a guy called Robert Monroe, and he was kind of into radio and sound frequency. And he developed a series of tapes that work with frequency that puts you into a hemisync state.
Right. Of what state?
Hemisync state,
right.
Which is basically your left and your right hemispheres combined.
Right.
Like a hypnosis. That's right. So in a sense of like hypnosis, when they put you under, they become your internal monologue. So they're basically saying, that's why they would say things like the chair you're sitting on is safe, because your subconscious is telling you that anyway. Right. So with this, it kind of has like 4 stages to put your body into like a body asleep, mind awake state. Okay. And there's 18 tapes. Each one has a different tape, but there's one where it's problem solving. And basically all you do is ask the question and you see what comes back.
Right.
Comes back.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like, should you do a green screen? Green screen. Some people would be like, well, that's just taking shit on a whim, bro. Like, But I'm like, you got to trust. Why is that the right feeling for you? Because there's nowhere else you're going to get that fucking answer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I definitely think, when people are like, oh, I might try this. It's like, it's in your head for a reason. Yeah. It's come from somewhere. You need to
You're downloading, yo.
Yeah.
Fuck knows where from.
I mean, don't talk to me about the Akashic records. Not that I know much, but I've always kind of, that sounds really
I feel like I'm digging away, finding more of,
mystic fabs.
Yeah.
But no, that seems really interesting. Do you know what it was? It was just during lockdown, in the old balance of life of doing music and doing the marketing stuff. A lot of my marketing clients they're usually fashion brands focusing on sustainability or wellness, but what I started getting in lockdown was a lot of wellness brands, wellness people. So that was kind of great because I was learning stuff.
What they do and everything else. And then you spoke to someone about the Akashic records.
Well, one of them.
How can I tap into them?
555. No, she was one of these women that would read them. Not that she did any of me, but it was very interesting. Who knew those existed? Like a library of downloads. But on a smaller note, I mean,
it's like the human iCloud.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a data place that apparently you can tap into and then you can take whatever information you need. I think within your reality, I'm not sure. Or it's just
Yeah, it's like a higher meditation, depending on what meditations you do. Sometimes when they do stuff with like angels, it's kind of like up there in the golden realms or something. God, imagine people would be like, "What are you lot talking about? What are you lot talking about?"
Some of the conversations that go on here.
Pandemic did this to us.
But that whole world, it's like you're either, you know, in the atheist, scientist, you know, everything's just metaphysical and this is it and that's it, you know.
Is that what would you say?
I'm not, no. I mean, I question a lot of things all the time, you know, like NASA, you know, there's so many sayings around it, you know, there's nothing more wasteful than a government funded
thing. I mean, I went down a YouTube hole one Saturday afternoon. This guy, what is he called? He's like the history guy, and he was doing like the history of
how NASA came together.
Area 51.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Oh, hang on. No, it was, sorry. It was a history guy telling some random history thing. And it was like how a man was down a hole still alive for like 5 hours. And then I pressed on a conspiracy theory link and there's when the whole, no. But yeah, now no one's going to believe us about all our spirituality because I mentioned conspiracy theories.
Well, if anyone knows where that word comes from, it was created by the CIA anyway.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so, but that could also be a conspiracy.
Yeah.
You never know. It's just so much fucking information. I kind of think, you know, with this pod in 10 years, with all the people I've spoken to, you can either be the person that kind of takes the information and goes, okay, that information is good for me, that I don't really need, and that I don't really need to. Or you become the holy man that wants to tell everyone why the earth is flat, why you should believe it's flat, and if you don't join me, then I'm going to go against you. You know, so for me, it's like, I'll just try and find out.
Yeah,
you know, but
I think it's always about, I think in life, just be curious.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, unless people are being absolute fascists, racists, you know, psychopaths, you know, I think it's about being open to people's opinion that aren't yours.
Oh, for sure. And I think a lot of people at the minute go from before they can prove something, they disprove it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah,
you know, it's like bollocks.
Yeah.
It's like, how quickly do you want to say? But have you even thought about what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
you know?
it's true. Yeah, because of course it goes back to like if they haven't heard it, it becomes the other, and then you know it's all about ignorance, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if they haven't heard it, they're like, oh, stay away from me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or if it messes with everything you know, because you know the thing is with like all these different things, like all these conspiracies, and once you start unlocking them, then it's like, okay, where does that information go for me?
Yeah.
But then also like it breaks your reality in certain ways, you know, if you're in that world too much, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like if you watch the news every single day.
Exactly.
You'd think the fucking world is. I don't. People are like, there's no tomatoes in a minute. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I got some yesterday.
Yeah,
but on the news, there's no tomatoes.
Oh my God. Do you know what? Yeah. It's so like, I used to have the Guardian app and I took it off my phone. And I was just like, I don't need to. I'll choose if I want to step into it.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
what you're telling me
oh
today.
my God. Yeah.
You're uninformed or misinformed.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm good, thanks. And you know, of course, that's ultimately what they want. They want disparities. They don't want us to come together because if we do, it's uprising and
yeah. It's always divide and conquer.
Yeah. But yeah,
knowing you in Camden though, it was, you know, it was before the world has changed drastically. I think in the informational part, you know, in everything we know now, the way we would probably communicate. Oh God, sorry, people. The way we would communicate before. I feel people are a lot more open now and understanding themselves because of things like COVID.
Well, yeah, the lucky ones,
Mm.
like I was, you know, I know a lot of friends that definitely did a lot of soul searching as well. I also know things with people that have had a terrible time.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so thank God that, well, you know, thank goodness that we were able to have that experience, because we could have had a completely different experience.
Mine was similar to yours, you know. Well, it was also like get rid of the shit like that I don't
Oh my
like
God.
about myself.
I was getting up at a crack of dawn doing these 7 daily rituals and like, which was like exercise, meditation, this, that. I mean, I definitely don't do 7 daily rituals anymore.
No, but you needed to do them to realize how good you feel when you're there.
Well, that was what,
Then you
that's
just
what
want
was
to get a bit back to there most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was what was interesting. I was all right. You know, it was me and the cat in the flat, and I was all right. And I was like, oh, everyone's
Me and the cat.
me and the cat in the flat. But
Trying
like,
to do telepathy. Go and get that ball.
yeah, get in the cage. But yeah, make something happen. No, but talk to me. So I was doing these and I was like feeling fine and the weather was nice. And then I think 2 days I didn't do the stick, and I was like hearing from people being like, oh, I'm finding things really difficult. And then I had 2 days where I didn't do the rituals, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, now I know what people are feeling. Get back into this routine. But yeah, I think for me, I grew up, just going back to kind of beliefs and stuff. I grew up Catholic. You know, I got one of the highest RE papers for GCSE in the borough. Did you not hear about me in Enfield?
Sorry.
No, but
Big up
like,
Enfield.
big up the borough of Barnet. But then RE at school was philosophy, really, wasn't it? But yeah, brought up Catholic. But now, brought up Catholic, sorry, I've got to think about it. So I was like, why am I missing the R's at the moment? But now for me, it's like energies, you know, I feel to be more in touch with nature. I think that's definitely, if people didn't get into finding themselves in lockdown, they definitely got more into nature and grounding.
The park looked fucking HD. You know what I mean? Like you went out, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Why hasn't the park looked like this before?
Yeah. I mean, did you see that thing of LA where the skyline in pandemic compared to like before or even like now?
I think, you could see
it was
a lot.
so clear. And like, and Venice, you know, like, didn't they have like dolphins?
Yeah.
Which they never had.
Yeah, if we go, the world would be pretty happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely like, I feel, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm still like gonna celebrate Easter, but like I do love church. I like spiritual places because there is an awe to them, you know, they are so beautiful, like the churches and stuff. But like, you know, if I have to sit through a mass, I'm kind of laughing to myself at how ridiculous all of this sounds, because it's all very much like the man we must obey.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, you know, religion isn't really what the books were about in the first place.
Yeah,
and then who came together and brought those books together as well.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's about 25,000 pages missing in certain books as well. There's esoteric, you know, so it's like, what information have we been fed?
Yeah, I feel like religion, I kind of feel like a lot of them are all the same, and they're just a way of giving the masses some type of society.
Belief, which,
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, you know, it gives people hope, doesn't it? It's going to give people hope.
But it all comes down to the sort of same basis, you know, and even science, you know, I heard one thing where it was like science, God creates and science catches up. You know, It is kind of like, however this, you know, science doesn't prove how this world was created or what it is in a sense. Yeah. It's kind of trying to find out what it is. So you kind of need everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was a thing that disproves the whole Big Bang Theory the other day.
I've been to talks where guys have got untold amounts of evidence where they're just like, it's not proof. But then when he's talking about hydrogen and this and that, I'm like, yeah, I agree, but I don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about, mate.
Yeah, well, that's...
I was here for philosophy.
But I mean, thank goodness for Joe Dispenza, because, you know, I know people that are like, what are you talking about, energies? What are you talking about? And I'm like, but can't you literally feel in a room
auras,
the vibe, and people are like,
you know, when people are fucking talked about you before you walk in, because all the thoughts
like,
are everywhere.
Or you just, this is not a good look, you know. I never forget, like, a few times I've been with people especially when I first post-pandemic was really like into this whole new kind of like more confident knowing person. I remember going to lunch with a person I barely knew, and because I barely knew her, I was like, I've got nothing to lose. so I kind of said, I'm really sorry, but he doesn't sound right for you. He sounds really awful. And I think he's probably seeing this person that you're talking about. And I said, I'm sorry if that sounds so honest, but I don't know you that well. So, you know, I was in my head a bit like, I can kind of say that. Yeah, then I got a phone call 2 weeks later and I was right. And that's happened a few times.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to be blunt with the truth, though.
Yeah, but then that also goes back to experience.
Yeah.
You know, you've met that person in another guise, and you recognize those behaviors. So it is energies, it's also experience.
And it's just like a fucking game. It's just showing.
Yeah, it's just collecting the coins and being like, oh yes,
Yeah.
okay, I've got the right knowledge coin for this scenario, and I got the right one for this one. Yeah.
And that you don't have that as a kid.
No.
You know, it's like you're being given this knowledge, but then it's like in schools, and going back to schools a little bit, but it's like none of that information I absorbed or has helped me in one fucking sense.
Yeah, because they don't want it to.
No.
That's why you don't get talked about.
They want workers, not thinkers.
Well, yeah, you don't get told about taxes at school,
Taxes
do you?
or anything, no.
Because you're not meant to.
No.
Yeah, love that.
So yeah, I think this has been a crazy dive in. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been great.
No, I loved it. So, as I said, there is one final question that I ask everyone. So
where's the drum roll?
It is, what is reality to you?
Living in the moment, I guess, and energies. Yeah. Yeah, realities is feeling the moment, living in the moment. Whether you do believe that the moment is a game and not real, or if you think that, you know, this is, you know, is real, you can't not feel and live in the moment. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's so true, though. You know, once you're present-minded, time flies.
Yes, and the worries leave.
Yeah.
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 For sure. Just got to remember it, you know.
Yeah.
I can't be like, I'm not like this all the time, trust me.
We're not. We have many different, you know.
I just got to, like, you know, transmute Jennifer Coolidge. Who cares? Seen that amazing meme where she's just like, who cares? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, nothing really matters, you know, but
Exactly.
It's true. Whether it's a game, whether it's created by God, whether it's science, you're in it to experience, learn, and whether it's an illusion, it's a great one to live in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So have you got anything you want to shout out?
Oh, well, where can you find me? You can find me on Voices Radio once a month doing Fabs' Future Sounds. Next one is next month because I've just done the one like yesterday. Or you just find me on Instagram, unfortunately.
Someone got there.
Yes, I did. _Fabienne's World. On TikTok, I think it's the same too. I'll try and be a bit better on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's all on my link tree and my Instagram.
Yeah, we'll put the links below anyway.
Great.
All right.
Great.
Amazing. Thanks for coming to the shed.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Brilliant.